Imagine an insurance company insures a large crude oil tanker worth 500 crore rupees. Now imagine that vessel suffers a total loss due to collision, grounding, or fire. The question is, can a single insurance company bear such a massive claim on its own? In many cases, the answer is no. This is where reinsurance comes into the picture. Reinsurance is often called insurance for insurance companies. It is a financial arrangement in which an insurance company, known as the cedent, transfers part of its accepted risk to another insurance company, called the reinsurer. By sharing the risk, the insurer protects its capital, maintains financial stability, and remains capable of paying claims even after major losses. In simple words, reinsurance helps insurance companies stay strong when facing large or unexpected claims.
Let's understand why reinsurance is so important. Without reinsurance, a few large claims can seriously affect an insurer's financial position. A catastrophic event, such as an earthquake, cyclone, flood, or major marine casualty, could create claims so large that they threaten the insurer's solvency. Without adequate protection, an insurer may be limited in the size and number of policies it can issue. With reinsurance, the situation changes completely. The insurer receives protection against huge losses. Its financial stability improves. Its underwriting capacity increases, allowing it to insure larger and more valuable risks. And risk is distributed across multiple organizations instead of being concentrated in one company. Therefore, the main objective of reinsurance is to protect the insurer's capital and financial strength while enabling business growth.
Before learning how reinsurance works, let's understand three important terms. First is the cedent, also called the ceding company. The cedent is the original insurance company that issues the policy to the customer and later transfers part of the risk to a reinsurer. Second is the reinsurer. The reinsurer is another insurance company that accepts part of the transferred risk and receives a portion of the premium in return. Third is the retention limit. This is the maximum amount of risk that the cedent chooses to keep for its own account. Any amount above this retention limit can be transferred to the reinsurer. The flow is very simple. The policyholder purchases insurance from the primary insurer. The primary insurer then transfers part of that risk to the reinsurer. This sharing of risk strengthens the entire insurance system.
Reinsurance performs four major functions in the insurance industry. The first function is expanding underwriting capacity. Because part of the risk is transferred to reinsurers, the insurer can issue more policies and cover larger risks than it could on its own. The second function is catastrophe protection. Reinsurance acts as a financial safety net against large-scale disasters such as earthquakes, cyclones, floods, industrial accidents, and major marine casualties. The third function is stabilizing financial results. Large claims can create sudden fluctuations in profits and losses. Reinsurance smooths these fluctuations and provides more predictable financial performance. The fourth function is risk diversification. Instead of concentrating risks in one location or one insurer, reinsurance spreads risks across different companies and different geographical regions. These four functions make reinsurance one of the most important tools in modern risk management.
Reinsurance is broadly divided into two fundamental types. The first type is treaty reinsurance. The second type is facultative reinsurance. Under treaty reinsurance, the reinsurer agrees in advance to accept an entire category or portfolio of risks. Every risk that falls within the treaty terms is automatically covered. Under facultative reinsurance, each risk is considered individually. The cedent offers a specific risk to the reinsurer, and the reinsurer has the option to accept or reject it. A simple way to remember this is treaty reinsurance covers a book of business. Facultative reinsurance covers a single risk. This distinction is very important for MEO Class 1 oral examinations.
If you are preparing for MEO Class 1 orals, Maritime Law, Marine Insurance, and other competency exams, consider subscribing to the channel and pressing the notification bell. It encourages me to create more high-quality study material specifically for marine engineers.
Let's understand these two types with practical examples. Suppose an insurer enters into a treaty reinsurance agreement covering all cargo insurance policies. In this case, every cargo policy issued by the insurer automatically falls under the treaty. The reinsurer accepts all qualifying risks without reviewing each policy individually. Now consider a different situation. An insurer wants to insure an offshore oil platform worth 1,000 crore rupees. This is a very large and unusual risk. The insurer may approach a reinsurer separately and offer that specific risk. The reinsurer evaluates the exposure, reviews technical details, and then decides whether to accept or reject it. This individual negotiation process is known as facultative reinsurance. Therefore, treaty reinsurance provides automatic coverage, whereas facultative reinsurance requires separate underwriting for every risk.
Now, let's look at some important legal principles. The first principle is that there is no direct relationship between the policyholder and the reinsurer. The insurance contract exists between the policyholder and the primary insurer. Therefore, if a loss occurs, the policyholder can only claim from the primary insurer. The policyholder cannot directly approach the reinsurer for compensation. The second principle is the principle of indemnity. Under this principle, the cedent cannot profit from reinsurance. Reinsurance exists only to compensate actual losses. If the insurer has already recovered the loss from another source, it cannot keep an additional profit from the reinsurer. For examination purposes, always remember this key point. Reinsurance compensates actual loss only. It does not create profit. Let's now move to proportional reinsurance. In proportional reinsurance, premiums and claims are shared in the same proportion between the cedent and the reinsurer. A common example is the quota share treaty. Suppose the cedent retains 30% of every risk and transfers 70% to the reinsurer. If the policy premium is $10,000, the cedent keeps $3,000 and the reinsurer receives $7,000. Now assume a claim of $100,000 occurs. The cedent pays 30%, which is $30,000. The reinsurer pays 70%, which is $70,000. Therefore, both premiums and losses are shared according to the same agreed percentage. This is the key feature of proportional reinsurance.
Now let's discuss non-proportional reinsurance, also known as excess of loss reinsurance. In this arrangement, the reinsurer only pays when a loss exceeds a specified retention amount. Consider a per-risk excess of loss cover of $2 million, excess of $500,000. If a claim is $400,000, it remains below the retention amount. Therefore, the insurer pays the entire claim and the reinsurer pays nothing. If a claim is $1.5 million, the insurer pays its retention limit of $500,000. The reinsurer pays the remaining $1 million. Now consider catastrophe excess of loss. Suppose a treaty covers $50 million, excess of $10 million for a single catastrophic event. A cyclone causes total losses of $35 million. The insurer pays the first $10 million. The reinsurer pays the remaining $25 million. This type of reinsurance is designed primarily to protect insurers from catastrophic financial shocks.
Before we finish, let's quickly revise the differences between proportional and non-proportional reinsurance. In proportional reinsurance, premiums and claims are shared according to an agreed percentage. Examples include quota share and surplus treaties.
Its primary objective is to increase underwriting capacity. In non-proportional reinsurance, the reinsurer becomes liable only after losses exceed a specified retention amount. Examples include excess of loss and catastrophe excess of loss covers. Its primary objective is protection against catastrophic losses. Remember this simple rule. Proportional reinsurance shares every claim. Non-proportional reinsurance responds only after the retention limit is exceeded. Let's conclude with an important MEO Class 1 oral examination question. What is facultative reinsurance? Facultative reinsurance is a reinsurance arrangement that covers a single specific risk on a case-by-case basis. Unlike treaty reinsurance, it does not automatically cover a portfolio of risks. Each risk is separately offered by the cedent and individually evaluated by the reinsurer. The cedent has the option to offer the risk. The reinsurer has the right to accept, modify, or reject the risk after conducting its own underwriting assessment. Therefore, facultative reinsurance provides flexibility for unusual, high-value, or complex risks that require individual consideration. Final clonser.
Thank you for watching. If this video helped you understand reinsurance for MEO Class 1 preparation, please like, subscribe, and share it with fellow marine engineers. Also comment below which topic you would like me to cover next: marine insurance, P&I clubs, hull and machinery insurance, general average, salvage, or maritime law. See you in the next lesson.